Hi, I'm DCRevolution, and welcome to my 1 hour bossing video. This is a series where I go to a boss for 1 hour at a time, in the hope of making good money by getting unique drops. The idea behind this series is 1, to make some money myself, but 2, to show that you don't have to camp a boss for hours on end to make some money. I want to encourage people to just jump into the game and to go and kill a boss for however much time they have, and hopefully they will be able to get lucky and make some money. Today's boss that we're going to go to for 1 hour are the Twin Furies. Now this is a God Wars Dungeon 2 boss, which I haven't been to for quite a few years, but it is probably the God Wars 2 boss which I enjoyed the most when it first came out. For me, this is where I first really learned about AoE abilities, and I really enjoyed being able to hit both of the bosses at once. I think when I first started out I was using a Chaotic Maul, but then I got a Dragon Rider Lance, and that was quite helpful for being able to hit them both at the same time. And now that I've got even better gear, I'm going to use my Noxious Scythe, and hopefully this will also improve my kill times. So because this is the boss that I've been to the most at God Wars 2, I've got 269 kills, which still doesn't seem like that many really, but I just haven't camped it before. But I'm very interested to see how many kills I can get in this hour now. If we look at the collection log, you can see that I haven't really had many drops from this boss. I've got 2 uniques, and I've had 1 of each of them. So I've already got an Anima Hood, and I've got the Zamorakian Essence. But the real big drops which you get from here are that Zamorakian Crest. That's a big one. It'd be lovely to see one of them, or the blades that you can get. So I am going to be killing the Twin Furies with melee, so the gear that I'm going to use are Malevolent Armour, with Steadfast Boots. I've got my Luck of the Dwarves to improve the drops. I've got Cinderbane Gloves, as they are poisonable, and so I'll also be using a Weapon Poison+++. I've got my Amulet of Souls, just to help a bit more when using Soul Split. I've got my Killing Cape, and I've got the Noxious Scythe. In the inventory, I have Elder Overloads, I've got a Prayer Renewal Flask, and I've got an Adrenaline Potion, and that Weapon Poison. Then I've got a few Super Restore Flasks to renew prayer points, and I've got some Sailfish in case I need a bit of food. I can't fully remember some of the drops that you get from the Twin Furies, so I've brought Magic Note Paper in case I need to note anything, and I have a Shield for Adrenaline Stalling, and a Ring of Vigour in case I use any ultimate abilities to just save a bit of adrenaline. I'm now going to go and start my hour at the Twin Furies. Hopefully I'll get lucky. I've already prepared by getting the kill count beforehand, so I'm just going to go create an instance straight away and start killing them. Well, I had a lot of fun during that hour. I got caught out a few times by some of the mechanics earlier on until I remembered exactly how they all worked. I didn't die or anything, but I did get dragged around the room a few times when one of them charges at you. But this is the sort of boss which I really enjoy. This boss, and this is why QBD is also one of my favourites, because there's mechanics which you have to deal with, and require just a little bit of focus. But you don't just instantly die if you can't quite do it properly. But it's just a bit more engagement, and it's quite fun when you get it all perfect. I managed to kill the boss 31 times, so I've got a fair bit of loot, lots of common loot. And I did also get a couple of loot beams, but I won't spoil that just yet. I banked a couple of times during the kills, but that's no issue now with the PVM hub. You can instantly teleport towards the retreat, you bank, and then you just go back through the portal. And as long as you've started an instance, you don't have to get the kill count again, you can just go straight in. I did seem to get a fair bit of experience whilst I was doing this hour, and I even levelled up my constitution to 119, so I'm now really close to getting a nice new 120 cape. But other than talking about how much I enjoy the boss, and how I expect this to be a good money maker for this 1 hour, I don't really have a lot more to say to it. So I will just head over to the price check now, and show you how it went. So after finishing the whole hour, I've now came to the max guild, and I've got all of the drops that I got from the Twin Furies in my inventory. I managed to get 31 kills within the instance, which I think wasn't too bad given that I'm not using the best gear possible, and it's been a long time since I last went there. So it took me a few kills to get used to it again and figure out exactly what I was doing. By getting 31 kills, I've now put my total kill count at the Twin Furies up to 300, which means that I'm certainly not being lucky on getting the unique drops here. But at least in this hour, I did make a little bit of progress towards that collection log. As you can see, I got 2 of the unique drops, one of them being the Blade of Avarice, and the other being a Dormant Anima Hood. I'd already had this hood before, so this isn't a new item, but the blade is. And the blade has a reasonable bit of value too, so that's helped increase the profit for the hour. Then in terms of the regular loot that the Twin Furies drop, I think I've done alright here too. I had a few coin drops, which have added it up to about 350k. I got quite a few Infernal Ashes, which are always a nice drop. And then other than that, they dropped Salvage, Herbs, a few Gems, Battle Staves, Wines of Zamorak, Raw Sharks, Magic Logs, and a few Stone Spirits. So I think all of this should hold a decent bit of value itself. And what I have noticed too about the drops is that it is quite similar to the sort of loot that you would expect from the Rex Matriarchs. Obviously that's just a boss which has been recently released, and I've done a few videos looking at them. And possibly just because it's been such a long time since I was doing this sort of level of bossing, I'm really noticing the similarities. And I think now, RS3 is at a point where the mid-tier PVM is actually really good, it's quite enjoyable, and you can make decent money there too. One of the drops which you do get at all of the God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses are these seals. So here I have 47 Seal of the Furies. These aren't tradable, but they can be handed in for reputation at one of the guard factions, and when you do that, you increase your reputation, and this gives a few unlockables. I think there's some cosmetics, but the really good things are the chance for increased drops at one of the bosses, so I likely spend these at either Vindicta or Gregorovic, as they have the highest value drops out of the God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses. So this is the total price check of all of the items that I obtained, and it comes out at about 7.5 mil. So that's a nice hour actually. It helped that I got a drop this time, but I think of all of the 1 hour bosses I've done so far, this has been the best. And even if I take out the one big drop, I've still got about 4.5 mil. So it's clearly a consistent money maker, and it's quite an easy level of PVM to get into. In terms of the experience rates that I was getting from this boss, I've also tracked that through Room Metrics, and I found that I got 138,000 experience in hit points, and 348k experience in strength. So it's probably not a viable method of training your combat stats, but if you're just doing this to try and complete a collection log or to make a little bit of money, it's always nice to get that experience while you're trying to do that. So I would call that a successful hour in terms of my 1 hour bossing series. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and it would be great if you could leave a like or a comment on the video so I can get some sort of engagement and find out what people enjoy and what they don't, and it would mean a lot if you could also subscribe too. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed.